Um, so please save your questions because as I said earlier, we have 30 minutes or plus for the Q&As, and then, poking on these couple of questions I've been posting on the chat room. So as you see on my screen, still we have a few other colleagues to share their views and perspectives. So next, I'd like to invite my wonderful colleague, Samuel Adeyanju from the University of British Columbia, who published a book chapter with us last year. Sam is a doctoral student at UBC. So for a quick remark or short presentation, over to you, Sam.
Thank you, Dr. Bista. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. I'm really honored and delighted to be joining you this morning from Vancouver. And also thank you to Morgan State University. Last year, we started a collaboration with Dr. Shan and Dr. Bista to publish in this book chapter. I work with colleagues from Nigerian universities to publish on the chapter 8 of this particular book chapter. I believe it's also freely available for people who may be interested in accessing the whole book or the chapter. This morning, I'm going to be focusing more on the subset of our book chapter, focusing on the status of higher education in Nigeria during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the experiences from Nigeria is pretty much similar to some of the challenges that marginalized communities in the United States or people of color may also have been facing during this pandemic in terms of online learning and instruction. In Nigeria, during the pandemic, about 40 million learners were affected by nationwide school closures. And just also give a sense about the country Nigeria for those who might not be familiar with the country. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa with over 200 million people. In the country, there are a huge number of young people who aspire for higher education in the country. However, annually, over 1 million university applicants are unable to obtain university admission due to limited number of universities in the country and also limited carrying capacity. There are estimated over 2 million students enrolled in a total of 174 universities in Nigeria. Research has shown, as well as experience, that Nigerian universities are grossly underfunded. For instance, the annual budgetary allocation to the education sector in Nigeria is only 7% of the budget. Coming to the topic or the title on the screen that talks about the feasibility of transitioning to online learning during the pandemic in Nigeria. While we acknowledge that the pandemic has affected higher education on a global scale, universities in developing countries like Nigeria have had to face additional challenges during the pandemic. Unlike in developed countries where schools like Morgan State University and others had the resources and the expertise to quickly and easily transition to online teaching methods within weeks, a lot of universities in Nigeria had to close down for months, and there were little to no instruction during this period. And this was due to the poor infrastructural facilities, which make online learning a difficult task to achieve in that particular environment. And some of the challenges relate to low access to personal computer. Research shows that about 80% of Nigerians have personal computers. Also, there is issue with poor quality and expensive internet. We have one of the most expensive internet rates in the world. And also this internet still remains very poor. You can hardly successfully attend a Zoom meeting or have a Google meeting without having to trip off several times. Also, there is a challenge of unstable electricity. Research also shows that about 57% of the national population experience a blackout every day. So that's when you have seasons or times where there is no power, and for this runs for several hours. So these complex challenges or complicated challenges make transitioning to online learning a very difficult task or impossible task for many universities in Nigeria. Another challenge, which also similar to some of the points already raised earlier, is the low computer literacy rate among university lecturers. Before the pandemic, most university lecturers teach in person. They write their notes on the board, black or white boards. Some use PowerPoint, but little or a very few number of them would use online learning technologies before the pandemic to instruct their classes. So with the incident of the pandemic, it was a very challenging task for them to easily transition. Next slide, please. So also in Nigeria, as the rest of the world has also done, some universities, especially private universities, have had to also adopt some online learning platforms. We have Canvas, which is, so to speak, more popular learning management tool. We also have Zoom as one of the video conferencing platforms that have been used by universities in Nigeria, mostly private universities, but also the uncommon or the unconventional platform, like we have had universities use WhatsApp and Telegram, which this platform are not essentially designed for online learning. These are instant messaging apps, but due to the peculiarity of the challenges and the situation of the country, universities have had to resort to using this mobile platform. And I think they're also popular because these platforms, WhatsApp and Telegram, for instance, are one of the most popular social platforms in Nigeria. They're easily downloadable on mobile phones, and then this makes it easy for universities to really integrate these platforms into their online learning strategies as well. In the middle of the slide, we have Nigerian local edtech companies, the Edu platforms, and Envivo Education that are also trying to pioneer some local Nigerian tailored learning management systems for universities to also use before the pandemic, but also which gained a few attraction during the pandemic. Luckily, private universities led the transition to online learning during the core time of the pandemic because they had more access to resources and funds compared to government-owned universities. Thank you so much for the time. I hope I'm able to answer questions after now.
Thank you, Sam. And a couple of reminders here for all the audience. The chapter Sam presented, the entire book is open access, so you can download at any time from anywhere. And also Sam has given at least food for thoughts to look into our privilege as a student, as a professors, and also between these countries, developed or developing, or from the global south. So now